Hello everyone, welcome to game number 2 in our best of 3 series between DeathTacticus and Pollina. DeathTacticus takes a very close game number 1 on the back of a couple of very nice patents, thinking machines, virtual reality, doing a lot of work combined with his Pleasure Dome and Offworld markets to get the job done there. Pollina's going to be looking to bring it back in game number 2. Philip still here with us doing commentary. I'm seeing a lot of high prices. Once again, it's just a high price day apparently.
There are a lot of high prices, and this might be the most generous map we've seen today so far. This scavenger spot over here just to the north of the colony looks very nice, found in some of this aluminum, and that's what DeathTacticus decides to do, taking it for 24k. Pollina deciding to go for the expansive down in the south, going to ship iron long distance, which is always a bold move when you're playing against an expansive. She instead, well, changes her mind, going for the potential where you could get this adjacency.
Yep. Gonna work out okay. Do want to point out that DeathTacticus bought up 88 steel pretty much as soon as Pollina found it, trying to make an effort to bring that price higher, to slow down Pollina's upgrade, make it a little bit more expensive. I'd say it did work out, but she still managed to get there at HQ2 without putting down any steel mills, so I imagine she's going to be okay with how things turned out. Should be able to easily push into plenty of steel and be all set for something like farms at HQ3 eventually. Just have to see what she decides for now.
Yes, all players going heavy into water. The price of water has died extremely quick. Pollina is going to be the first to throw down what I assume will be a couple of farms. Also claiming she's going to go 1 farm, 2 steel mills, and claim a high elemental quarry.
Don't like that very much. It's very split is all. Very, very split. I mean, the farm is still $72 profit, but of course most of that's being taken away by debt, so it's really only 30 per second right now. Just something to watch out for.
Pollina's decided that she doesn't like it either, and is going into 2 farms, getting out of some of that extra water, because water is extremely low and both players have a small but decent stockpile. DeathTacticus EMPing Pollina's metal mine. Just gonna make these steel mills a little bit more painful.
Yep. Gonna make the steel a little bit more difficult to make. Should still be worthwhile, as if you have to buy that steel, the price goes up anyway, so realistically the price is a lot higher than it looks, but still not really a pleasant thing for your steel to be less valuable because this iron is just so difficult. Pollina did have the option of getting into additional iron separated so that it couldn't all be EMP'd out. Elects not to do that though. Is just going to push into a 3rd farm instead. I'm a little nervous about this move as the price of food is falling very rapidly, and it's really putting a lot of eggs right in this one little basket of getting EMP'd.
Right. Meanwhile, DeathTacticus has gone up to HQ3, has used one of his claims on a geotherm, uses the rest of his claims going into additional water and food. Both players have their food in an easily EMP-able triangle, and Pollina's is the first to get hit with the EMP.
Yep. Just doing what work you can there. DT has bought into the iron as well, just making the steel even worse. Trying to find every single little edge he can this game. Good MP onto the food combined with that. It's making life very difficult for Pollina. She needs 8,000 to buy the glass right now. And that price is going to continue to rise over time with DT buying his own glass and so many warehouses at the colony right now. We've got 6. That's all it wants to do right now is consume that glass.
This time the Chinese colony deciding to stay a Chinese colony. Pollina's just sort of sitting here, twiddling her thumbs. Her steel mills have turned off. Her farms are frozen. The only thing that's online is a silicon and this water pump.
And the iron. Came back. The EMP is over finally. Which is a decent profit per second. 128. Well, okay. Well, putting a stop to that. Never mind.
DT says no iron mines for you, but Pollina has a black market cooldown, takes it right back.
Yeah, this is why I really didn't like the 3rd farm, by the way. It could have easily been a 2nd iron mine. second high iron mine just prevents a whole lot of the shenanigans that are going on right now, slowing Pollina down. And the third farm spent most of the time frozen.
DeathTacticus finally deciding to move into a second geotherm with his last remaining claim.
DT also going to make the move into electrolysis reactors. This will be some good profit for the time being, but it does leave food open for Pollina to continue to use. Should still be fairly profitable building, 51 apiece right now.
DeathTacticus is also, well, he was buying into something that I missed.
Oh yeah, he's buying into a lot of that iron still. He actually has mutinied away Pollina's iron mine and then just turned it off. Yeah. He doesn't even want to pay the fuel for it. Not worth it to him to do that. Not worth it to him to put iron on the market. So he just says, I'm just going to freeze this building effectively for 120 seconds.
Pollina does finally get the HQ3. I expect to see another iron claim. There we go.
Ooh, I don't like that iron claim though. I really don't. You have an opportunity to split your iron against an EMP. I would take that every single time, personally, when iron has been so difficult this game. I mean, do you really need 6 iron that can get turned off so easily, or is it better to have 4 iron per second? That's just a little harder to bring down.
Right. She is using a silicon stockpile to move immediately into a line of solar panels.
Yep.
Both players are at roughly the same amount of debt, only separated by about $900, as we have an auction for Patent Lab.
Yeah, that's going to change this, because Patent Lab auction, particularly interesting in a game when chems are only $88. They started at $80, I think. And regardless, they are not moving up very quickly with no laboratories to drive that price high. So this is a very, very valuable claim and building.
Yeah, once you're done with the patent auction, this Patent Lab claim will have a triple bonus on a Offworld market if the game lasts that long.
Yeah, and it's a fantastic game for that kind of thing too, considering that even though network viruses are available, makes the Offworld a little more vulnerable, there's no dynamite to blow it up. So you never have to worry about it being that far away from your base once you've got it online.
More EMPs raining down from DeathTacticus, this time on Pollina's solar panels. She is moving out of the food into fuel, originally thinking about moving into glass, but decides...
And now it's going to be steel. It had to be steel. Steel was the only option.
Yes.
She eventually comes to that same conclusion, though. Good to see. The electrolysis would have been a pretty serious error, I think, with steel up this expensive.
Pollina going into superconductor just as power is dying. Just will make sure that power price is dead and will not come back, assuming she has power online. DeathTacticus did just upgrade to HQ4 before the auction of the Patent Lab and can upgrade to HQ5 if he wants it.
Yeah, he's just tearing through the game right now. DT managed to move into these glass kilns. He actually committed 2 tiles, 2 silicon this game, which should work out quite well if the game doesn't last all that long. Has the upgrade, but might be thinking about ending things right here and now. His glass does finally get EMP'd. But you can see just how much money he's made off that, how much it's worth right now, and DT does start the buy.
Yes, doesn't look like Pollina will have enough income to defend herself, although DT's going to be a little bit short after he sells out of this last stock.
Yeah, not quite enough just yet.
One hip that DT needs to get versus Pollina still needs to buy 2.
Yeah, he should still be just fine. His glass is going to turn back on, 2 of them in about 5 seconds here. His electrolysis is still making a lot of money. He's actually going ahead and making a transition into more glass kilns right now, which normally I don't like transitioning when the game's this cheap. Well, Pollina gives it up anyway, realizes it's not going to happen. Very reasonable decision. Normally I don't like transitions when you're going for a buyout, but frankly when carbon's $4 and silicon's $5, putting down additional glass kilns is probably an acceptable thing to do.
Yeah, in this case, the DeathTacticus just wanting to make sure that he has enough money.
And indeed he does. Pollina just going to give it up. 2-0 victory to DT. Pretty clean. The second game in particular, great use of the black market to hurt your opponent. Fantastic use of targeting the iron, identifying the mistakes that your opponent's making and how they're laying out their base at HQ2, HQ3, and keeping them down there is an impressive thing to do, even as a scavenger, to take that victory. So, pretty fantastic win for him. Pollina said she would have found it for 22k. DT got it for 24. Just a bit unfortunate for her.
One option.
If I wanted to, I could blame host advantage, but it's fine.
I don't think that was the issue in this case. One thing that people are talking about in your chat was the option of, since Pollina did pick up nanotechnology, to scrap the patent lab to get some, what would that be, 20 electronics at 250. Not sure if that would be enough to defend herself, but it would.
I mean, she did scrap her patent lab.
Are you sure that's her or the AI after being bought out?
Well, it didn't get bought out. Everything's still the same because she wasn't bought.
Then I guess she did scrap the patent lab and I missed it.
Either way, I mean, if you scrap the patent lab, 20 electronics, you're talking about $4,000. Nowhere near enough. Nowhere near enough, I think, to make the difference. She just didn't have the income over here. The best thing she had was these glass kilns. They weren't even completely online yet. It just wasn't going to happen.
That's what I get for trying to do mental math after daylight savings kicks in.
Man, try and do mental math in front of a microphone. It's just not going to happen.
Well, that just makes it worse.